Hello everybody! So starting all of these newish videos for my channel, I had put a photo out on my social media, on my Instagram and Facebook, and asked what you guys had any thoughts about as far as videos that you want to see. And specifically, I'm going to just read out the request. It says, would you ever do something like a foundation review? What foundations you like for your type/complexion? So that is exactly what I'm going to do today. I am very fair skinned. I have a billion freckles. And for a long time, foundation was very frustrating. Of course, it's gotten easier now because I've found a lot that I like, and I am still finding ones that I like. I have 5 foundations all together to show you guys, and 2 of them are drugstore foundations, and 3 of them I have gotten from Sephora. So if you would like to see this video, just keep watching. So the first foundation that I'm going to talk about is the Urban Decay All Nighter Liquid Foundation, and as you can see, or if you cannot see, I am almost out of this foundation. I have used it a ton. So the price of this foundation, I'm actually, if you see me looking down, it's because I'm gazing off of my phone for the prices, but the price of this one is $40. And like I said, I did get this at Sephora. It is the shade 0.5. So they always talk about with the all-nighter foundation the different undertones. So the 0.5 says fair porcelain with subtle pink undertones. Now, when I very first went to Sephora, and I had never used a foundation that was so full coverage like this, I wanted to make sure that I would be getting the right color for my skin tone. I had also heard a lot of things when it comes to oxidation, and I'll talk about that as well. And the reason I will talk about that is because I had originally gotten this foundation in the 1.0. That's what I was told that I should get. And when I swatched it on my hand in Sephora, yeah, it was great. It looked like it matched my skin tone. But this foundation does oxidize. Now, before you put it on, you do want to shake it up really well. And whenever I do with the 0.5, it matches my skin tone perfectly. I have no issues with it. But when I did wear the 1.0 in this shade, I was looking orange. Just really, it was too dark. It did not match my neck whatsoever. And I already have a hard enough time with even the lightest shade of a foundation collection of whatever brands most of the time to have it match and there not be a line all the way around, even trying to blend that out. But that one was obvious. I would have friends be like, oh, you need to blend that in a little bit, and for me to not have noticed and then for someone else to tell you that you have something that needs to be blended in, I mean, it was obviously too dark. But other than that, I love this foundation. I got it because I was having a lot of acne issues. Like, I know I had talked about having some more recently, but it was even worse at one point. And this is super, super, super full coverage. It is wonderful. You can use a brush. I just use a beauty blender or whatever type of sponge that I have laying around because that's typically what I use. But it is great. It is, I love it. So the next foundation that I'm going to talk about is another one that I got at Sephora. This is when I very first got Color IQ'd at Sephora, and honestly it wasn't even too long ago. I want to say like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. I had always just kind of been going off swatches on my own, but I decided to go ahead and do the Color IQ, which is amazing. If you haven't done it already, I strongly suggest it because it really does help. But anyways, this one is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Invisible Cover Foundation. And this was $43 at Sephora. And the color that I wear is number 117, and it says Y225. And the Sephora app is telling me that it's marble. I don't know, I've always just known it as Y225. But anyways, it matches my skin tone perfectly. Unlike the all-nighter that we just talked about, this is a lot lighter coverage, which is what I was looking for when I very first went to get this. It matches my skin tone perfectly. And these also go by like an undertone that you have. There's so many shades in this collection of foundations, so it's great to make sure that you either do Get the color IQ and make sure you know which one that you need, or swatch it. And like I say with any foundation now, walk around the store for a little bit and make sure that even it doesn't oxidize on your skin tone. But this is a, I would say, light to medium coverage, and you can build it, definitely. And with a primer, it lasts all day. Without one, you know, you're kind of guessing on whether or not it's going to last as long, but that's kind of the same with any foundation, I think, or at least with my skin. I definitely need a primer. And talking about primers, if you'd like to know about what primers that I use or anything like that, please let me know, and we might have a video coming up on that as well. Alright, the last one that is from Sephora is the Born This Way medium to full coverage foundation. And it also says that it is oil free, and the shade that I wear is called Snow. Yes, Snow, and it is $39 at Sephora. This foundation is one that I had tons of friends rave about. They just loved the Born This Way foundation, and I had always wanted to try it. So eventually, once I had kind of ran out of what I was using at one point, I decided to go ahead and check this out and see if I enjoyed it as well. And I really did. The color was a little more difficult to blend than what I'm used to as far as being kind of spoiled from the Makeup Forever one, because that ultimately is my favorite. That's a little more light to medium as far as coverage goes. I would say that the Born This Way foundation is actually quite a bit more coverage. I know that this one says just medium to full, but I would almost say that the Born This Way foundation is a full coverage, because it definitely covered up any blemishes or any skin issues that I was having, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I never had problems with it not lasting all day. Sometimes it would break apart like right over my nose or around the sides on my chin, but that's pretty typical if I really don't bake in those areas or make sure that I have a really great primer prior to, or if my skin is dry. But other than that, I have no complaints with it. I really do enjoy this foundation. So next I'm going to talk about the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, and the shade that I wear is the 110 Porcelain. Now I have tried the shade Up, and that is the 115 shade, and it was just too dark. It would leave lines. It was orangey looking, and I strongly would recommend getting the 110 if you are kind of on the line going back and forth about which one you really want, just because I think you can just as easily make a lighter shade work by making sure you've got a nice contour, putting some blush on, and bronzing up your face around the outside just a little bit, and then you're good to go. But when you have something that's too dark, then you kind of can't go back from that. At least that's my opinion. I think it's easier to work this way. But this one actually matches my skin tone pretty well. I don't really have to worry about that, and I really enjoy it. This one is normal to oily, and typically I do get just a little bit oily around the T-zone, which is why I do like this one, because that way then it doesn't split as much around that area. So I really, really enjoy this. I know everybody says they really enjoy it, but I do too. I'm jumping on the bandwagon. The last one that I have, and the one I have been using like crazy lately, I am so in love with it, is the Revlon Color Stay Foundation. And it is for combination to oily skin. It has an SPF of 15, and it says it's 24 hours of wear. So it is a full coverage. And this is in the shade 110 Ivory. Now, I think that whenever I use a beauty blender, I get more full coverage. I think whenever I use a brush, it's more to medium to full, depending on if I add a little bit more and build it up. It definitely is buildable. But lately I've just been using a brush, and it's been great. I'll put some concealer on after that and use my blender to blend out the concealer underneath my eyes and around my T-zone just to brighten up. But the coverage is great. It lasts just as long as any of my other foundation, and I don't know if that's just specifically because it says combination to oily. I think that kind of hits me right on the nose, because I'm definitely both of those somewhat, especially from time to time. It kind of changes in areas, and I think that's just with the time of year, things change your skin adapts all the time. So I love, 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 love this foundation. I cannot get enough of it. It's what I'm wearing today as well. I've been wearing it in, I think, even like my last 2 or 3 videos I had it on. I've been wearing it anytime I have to put this on. This is my latest obsession. This foundation does not oxidize very much at all. Once I put it on, it stays pretty true to color, and I have never really had issues with blending it out or anything like that. It just works like magic for me. Alright guys, so that is it. I hope that you enjoyed that video, and for the one that gave the suggestion, I hope that it helps you out, because I know I've always had a difficult time finding foundations for my skin tone, and I know videos like this from other YouTubers have definitely helped me out in the past as well. So if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up down below. And also, I know I haven't been mentioning it lately, but if you want to get notifications for every time I upload new videos, there is just a small bell icon, and all you have to do is click on that, and you will get alerts on your devices for when I have uploaded a video. If you have not subscribed to my channel already, please do so, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.